We know so far of the Manchester bomber, 22-year-old Salman Abedi. He was born in Manchester in 1994, the son of Libyan refugees who fled the Gaddafi regime. Abedi was reportedly known to British authorities, but they did not believe he posed an immediate threat. And neighbors say they recently heard him chanting Islamic prayers in the street outside his home. Joining me now to discuss the Manchester terrorist attack, the investigation, the latest warning from the British government, a further attack may be imminent. Steve Rogers, a former member of the FBI National Joint Terrorism Task Force. Steve, good to have you here. I could not help but notice a sign in which they were talking about love for all and hatred for none. It is absolutely irrelevant to what is happening in Manchester and unfortunately in so many parts of Europe and indeed the world.
Lou, with the exception of President Trump, the world leaders, the Western world leaders, have to understand that we are at war. This is not criminal action. This is war. And when you're at war, the rules of engagement must change. The rules of engagement in France, in England, and in Germany have not changed. Here they're going to change because now we have a president who recognizes what this is. This is a war.
And approaching 16 years in this war, without victory, without resolution. It is preposterous that our leaders do not, with the exception of President Trump, do not want to change their outlook, their perspective, or their approach.
Lou, it's the politically correct policies that are taking us down a path that's going to destroy country by country. Look what we saw happen in Germany. Look what we saw happen in France. And now the British are reaping the wages of policies that are killing their people, not the enemy. So this has to change, and hopefully this is going to be the wake-up call that will change their policies.
The idea that these attacks are becoming more frequent. Only 2 months ago, the Westminster attack in the UK, in France, in Paris, the attack on April 20th, April 7th, Sweden, going to April 3rd, Russia, the United Kingdom, as I said back on March 22nd, at Westminster, what could have been an attempted attack on Parliament itself. Again, the Louvre, a knife attack in Germany, the Berlin Christmas market. These are accelerating in frequency and now in deadly effect.
Well, first of all, let's understand that I know they use the word terrorist attack, but these are military combatants. They're trained to destroy their enemy. We happen to be their enemies. And Lou, I noticed they're changing their tactics. They're changing the targets. Now, this individual had a backpack. He knew he couldn't get into that venue. He couldn't get into that stadium. So what do? They do a lot of reconnaissance, and they find out where the most people are going to be so that they can do the most damage, and it was this exit.
So what are we going to do? I mean, we can understand that a crowd exiting a protected and secure venue is more vulnerable when they are leaving. That saves no lives. The only thing that will save lives is to destroy the Islamic State. And how are we going to kill these? I don't hear a discussion by anyone other, again, than President Trump and some of his advisors about killing the enemy.
We're going to have to do things that people don't like for us to do. The president is absolutely right. He's getting a world coalition, especially those Arab states, to get together and to respond to them militarily in the Mideast. But what do we need to do here? We need to unleash our law enforcement officers. We need to unleash the NSA, who's prohibited in many ways to do data mining. And we need, that's right, Lou, we need to understand that this enemy has to be killed, eradicated off of the face of the earth.
But at the same time, we don't have to give up our rights as citizens. We do not have to tolerate an NSA that is intruding into the lives of citizens. We need to focus on the prospect of the prospective enemy and make determinations.
How about this, Lou? How about when these individuals come to this country that they have to assimilate into our way of life, respect our flag, respect our culture? When we don't do that, like they did not in Great Britain, this is the result.
Steve Rogers, good to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We're coming right back.